determine the radius, center, and interval of convergence of the power series using the ratio test. Power series convergence is crucial because it is allowed us to represent functions as infinite sum of simplifier terms, enabling us to analyze and manipulate them more easily. Understanding convergence helps us to determine the range of input values for which of the power series accurately approximate the functions. This ability to represent and analyze functions using power series is fundamental in areas like calculus, differential equations, and complex analysis. So, here's the example of a power series. The summation of n is equals to 0 approaches to infinity. The power series of x raised to n, center of this is 0. The next example is the summation of n is equals to 0 approaches to infinity. The power series of x minus c raised to n. So the center of this is the c because not centered at 0. You first thing to do is to determine the center. Here is the example. For this example, determine where each power series centered at. Example is x minus 2 raised to n. For this example, the center is 2. The next example is the summation of n is equals to 0 approaches to infinity. So the power series of x plus 4 raised to n. Then para makuha natin yung x is i-equal natin siya into 0. Then x is equals to negative 4. So also the center is negative 4. Third example is the summation of n is equals to 0 approaches to infinity. So x raised to n over n factorial. The center of this is 0. So our fourth example is the summation of n is equals to 0 approaches to infinity. The power series of 3x minus 2 raised to n is over n. Ang pagkuha ng ating center is the 3x minus 2 is equals to 0. And then magiging 3x is equals to, so ang x natin is magiging 2/3 kasi dinivide siya both side into 3. Then ang center natin is also a 2/3. There are three conditions in power series. The first one is the limit of n to infinity. Then the absolute value of un plus 1 over un is equal to 0. Sabi dito is for all x is equals to 0, then the radius is equal to infinity. Then the interval po is the negative infinity and positive infinity. And condition is the limit n to infinity, the absolute value of un plus 1 over un is equal to the infinity. So x minus c is the convergence, then the radius is the 0 and the interval is c. So kung ano yung makukuha nating center dun sa formula or yun sa given. Then this is the converge, which is yung infinity and the x minus c. Third condition is the limit n to infinity, the absolute value of un plus 1 over un is equal to 1 over r. So the absolute value of x minus c less than 1, then times mo siya into r both side, then mag-equal siya sa absolute value of x minus c less than r, which is converge. Then the absolute value of x minus c greater than r, so magiging diverge siya. Example number 1 is the summation of n is equal to 0 to infinity. X raised to n over n factorial. So ang gawin muna natin is ililimit natin siya. So ang gamitin natin is the limit n to infinity, the absolute value of un plus 1 over un, so less than 1. Then ang un plus 1 natin is the x raised to n plus 1 over n plus 1 factorial. Then ang un natin is the given limit of n to infinity absolute value of x raised to n plus 1 over the factorial of n plus 1 divide x raised to n over n factorial. So simplify the value and reciprocal the given and cancel all the same value. Tapos natin i-cancel all the same value. So i-ano muna natin siya na magiging sagot niya is the 1 over n plus 1 times x. So magiging 0 times x is equals to 0. Then this is converge. Our center is the 0 and our radius is the infinity, and our interval is the negative infinity. And next example is the summation of n is equals to 0 approaches to infinity. So x raised to 2n over 2n factorial. So ililimit muna natin siya na x raised to 2n plus 1 over 2n times 2 times n plus 1 factorial divide x raised to 2n over 2n factorial. So combine natin siya ng x raised to 2n plus 2 over 2n plus 2 factorial times the reciprocal of this given 2n factorial over x raised to 2n. So ang next natin is the simplify x raised to 2n times 2x raised to 2, then 2n plus 2 and 2n plus 1 and 2n factorial times 2n factorial over x raised to 2n. So i-cancel all the same value. So ang magiging sagot nito is the limit n to infinity and 1 over 2n plus 2 times 2n plus 1 times x raised to 2. Then ang magiging sagot niya is 0 times x raised to 2. So 0 times x raised to 2 is 0. Then ano nito is the converges. So radius is equals to